Some people say they just follow me because of my laugh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, why not? Because so many people are miserable. So just don't be miserable.
What you've had an interesting career.
Yeah.
You've moved from one company to another.
Yeah.
What would you say you wish you knew that you've learnt from your working in companies and moving around?
Wish I knew that people weren't as genuine as they made out that they were.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of people sort of want to help you and they want to know this and they want to know that, and you realise that actually, you know, people are just tapping you up for information. Or I get that now quite a bit because of my position. You know, all of a sudden I'm vice chairman, but also I work for another company. It's a very big company, so people want to be sort of your friend. And I think I wish I'd caught on earlier that people were doing things to their own ends.
Mm-hmm.
And I also wish I'd had the skills at the time to be able to say to them, no, I'm not doing that. And I think I found myself driving across the country to sit down and talk to somebody so that they could download my brain and get all my mobile numbers off my phone and all of those things. So
How would you tell them no now?
how would I tell them no now?
Yeah, because you want to tell. I assume you want to tell them no in a way that doesn't burn a bridge.
Well, yes, it does. But it's interesting because some of the things that I've got to do for my university course are quite basic. And I'm looking at it thinking, well, that's a waste of time. Why am I doing that? I don't want to do that anymore. And I've come to this stage in my career now where there's lots of things I don't do anymore because I don't see the value. There's no issue if I don't do them. And I've sort of realised that when I start my university course, I'm going to have to put some of that behind and I'm going to have to do some of these things. I had to watch a video and it was, watch a video and how does Alex feel about this? And I'm thinking, really? I don't do stuff like that anymore. I don't need to. So there was a guy that wanted to meet with me and I said I was prepared to help him with something, but he wanted me to drive all the way to his offices. And I just went, no. If you want, I'm offering you some help, but you know, you've got to meet me. I'm not even meet me halfway. You want all this information, you drive to where I am.
So wait a minute. He approached you.
They were being quite frustrating, and I was being quite frustrating back. And then I thought, actually, this isn't really achieving anything. So I offered to help. I said, look, you're not going about this the right way. You don't really understand how we operate. I've been associated with this business for 20 years. I'm quite happy to give you some pointers so that you don't keep tripping up on these things. And they were all over it and thought it was brilliant, but then said, great, can you come all the way to our offices in the south of the country? Well, no. If you want my help, you can come to me.
Well, what happened to a Zoom call?
I think they want lots of people together.
So they basically want you to do a free seminar.
Yeah, free consultation on, you know, to deal with one of the largest companies in the UK. No, that doesn't work.
No payment offered, no consult.
No.
I suppose that's where you could have a separate part of your own business where I do consultation fees.
Yeah, possibly, but
Yeah. By all means, I can do that. These are my fees.
Yeah.
If you want things, this is because this is not benefiting my company.
Yeah. So I try to be helpful, but I'm not going to. Like you say, you don't need to anymore. We've got Teams and Zoom, so why do I need to travel lots of distances?
And especially if was that actually going to benefit you?
Retrospectively, it would have done. I think is probably where it is. If they'd have known this at the start, a lot of the things that I had to sort out, I wouldn't have needed to sort out because they would have understood it.
So no more spoon feeding to them. Okay. You've got high positions.
Yeah.
How has it been as a woman working your way up?
So it's interesting. So the trade association that I work for, people always tag it with old boy network. And I just don't believe that anymore. I think people just like to use that terminology. There's lots of senior females. I don't really sort of see a misogynistic sort of attitude. When I was younger, yeah, it was terrible. But now, you know, I don't even hear people say, "Isn't it great we've got a senior female in the business?" And I think that's really good because I'm not anything. I'm just the vice chairman.
Yeah. I think just to jump in there, it's a bit like where as a black person, I don't want to be recognised as a black person in a senior position in a company.
Yeah.
I just want to be recognised as Simon
Yeah.
doing the job that I'm meant to be doing and doing it very well.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. And if I was going to interview somebody, I'd interview the right person for the job, not the, let's tick a box, because it drives me nuts.
Because then you get all the questions of how did you really get the job, what really happened, and
I described it the other day as getting here because I'm passionate, enthusiastic, I work hard, and I'm ever so slightly outspoken. So I would say what I think, but I do it from a position of power, so I've achieved something and then I'll say it. I think is probably where I'm at with something. So.
How has your outspoken element affected your career?
Yes, I would say in the company that I work for, I think that's probably one of the reasons is I don't comply and I will say what I think. And sometimes you see people flinch in a meeting because everyone's thinking it and nobody says it, and I'll say it. But then what I've tried to do now is try to be more constructive. So if I'll sit on something for a while now instead of being a bit impulsive, and then I'll put an email together and say, look, I'm sorry, but this just needs saying. How do people know unless somebody says something?
Does the seniors value that?
Yeah, they do now.
So because they accept it. So they may say, okay, and just come and tell us privately, please. Just tell us privately. There's only so much embarrassment we can take before they want to replace us. Yeah. I suppose a lot of it's about ego.
Yes.
How do you navigate egos? You also must have your own ego at times.
Yeah, I do. And I do work with people that have got big egos. I tend to ignore it most of the time. And the first time you come across it, it's quite shocking, and they come across as being quite, you think they don't like you very much because of the way that they are. And then when you come across it 2 or 3 times, you just think, well, that's just so-and-so being so-and-so, and I just ignore it. And I find something with that person that we do get along with and share a mutual respect on. We tend to get around it that way, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, you can always find, whether it's a football team or something, you find something in common and they think, she's not that bad after all.
Exactly that. I'm a big football supporter. I love all of my sport and whatever, so I can always find something to talk to somebody about.
Were you a big football supporter before you started your career?
Yeah, my dad was senior within the Football Association, so I went to my first game when I was 6 weeks old. Football's always been a huge thing.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Who's your team?
Leicester City.
Oh, I like that. Patriotism.
Yeah.
You're from Leicester. You got all these nutters in London supporting Manchester, Liverpool. They don't even know the first thing about those places.
Yeah. I remember years ago when I went to football with my dad, and some guy said, "Oh, hello, you're still coming," and he went, "Yeah, I'll support them through thick and thin, and mostly thin." And that's what it's like. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And then my kids support them. We go to games together. I go to the games with my mum. Yeah, it's a great thing.
Did your husband support them?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's good. So I was just thinking, mate, I'm not into football, by the way. I wonder what it's like if you've got 2 people who are for different teams.
Yeah, it's okay. As long, I think there becomes a bit of a mutual respect. I think you find yourself naturally being interested in how your other half's team does.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a good relationship.
Yeah, I'm with you. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Pay more attention during your A-levels so that you could go to university, because that's the thing I regret. I don't necessarily regret going to work at the age that I did, but I think I really missed out on moving away from home, getting a good group of friends. I think that's something that when I see my son and daughter both go through it, I wish I had done that, but equally I'm going to university in January. I'm not expecting to be 18, but I'll still get some element of it.
You've got friends now, though.
Yeah.
So, did you really miss out?
I don't think so, because now I look at where I am now.
Yeah.
My children are successful. My daughter does the extra stuff outside of work in a trade association because she sees her mum doing it and she sees the value in it. So, I just sometimes wonder
then you would have just sacrificed 3 years or 5 years of work in life, which I would argue has put you above the rest.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? The same conversations I've been having with my daughter, who's 20, telling her she needs to get into the chemical engineering industry, get them to pay for the course, but you work for them full time more or less and get one day for a week to study.
Yeah.
She's just on this mindset, I need to have a uni experience. And so I said, for what?
Yeah.
You want to be ahead of all those people. You don't want to be behind or level.
Well, that's what my company are doing. They're paying £24,000 for me to go on this university course, so I'll have no debt. They'll allow me to do it during work's time, but they will see the benefit of it.
Long term.
Yeah.
And they know you're a lifer because you've been with them for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. And in my other job, I'm having the best fun ever. We have an annual awards ceremony, and I've been allowed to organise the after-party entertainment. I'm just having the best fun organising that. It's just great.
Where's it going to be? Not at Swingers.
No, it's not. No, it's at the Grand Hotel in Brighton.
Okay. So you're based up in Leicester,
Yeah.
and you're going all the way to Brighton. So your company is nationwide. Well, it's international.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, yeah. But as I said before, I used to travel to Holland, Belgium, Reykjavik, whatever. Leicester to Brighton for me is not a long journey. That's 3.5 hours in the car. That's it.
When you think back of your experiences travelling, does it bring joy? Does it bring frustration or insight? What does it bring?
I'm proud of what I did, what I achieved, and whenever I meet new people and I tell them, they're somewhat quite taken aback by, wow, you know, I didn't just go to Europe, I went over to the States, did things in Atlanta and Chicago and things like that. So I'm really proud, but I'm glad that I've done that and I'm not doing it anymore. Although I wouldn't think twice if someone said to me, you need to get on a plane, you need to go to Atlanta now, I'd go.
Right, be careful just in case your boss hears this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's good. What did your parents do for a living?
So my mum stayed at home. My dad was a policeman, and then he worked full time for the local football association.
Okay. And you got lots of siblings?
I've got a brother and a sister.
Okay. So a stable home. And it's always good to get an insight of where people have come from to the decisions that they've made in life. So your dad's been really supportive.
Yeah.
Does your mum look at it like, I wish I had done these things?
No, so my dad passed away about 3 years ago, and now she's starting to do some of the things that I think she wanted to have done. And they're really small things like changing the windows at home, having a new sofa or something like that. So no, I don't think she regrets any of her decisions. You know, and she does really well for the age that she's at. She carries on doing everything that she wants to do. So it's
Okay. All right. It's been a great interview.
thank you.
My last question to this is, you've done lots of things. You've never let anyone hold you back, which is great. We all have regrets in life. Would you rather rectify any of your regrets or just hope for a better future?
Oh, definitely. I wouldn't want to rectify any of my regrets. Absolutely not. You know, I made the decisions that I made at the time based on the facts that I had. It's made me the person that I am. It's made my children the people that they are. So, yeah, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop learning or doing new things or trying to progress. And as I said, if I come up against a barrier, I'll just find a way around it, which I normally do.
Okay. That's good. Well, thanks a lot for that, and we wish you well.